Now, part of the problem, I would say, with the large language model systems is that they're hyper-trained on, they're like populists in a sense. They're hyper-trained on the over-proliferation of nonsense that characterizes the present. And the problem with the present is that time hasn't had a chance to winnow out the wheat from the chaff. Now, what we did with young people is we referred them to the classic works of the past, right? That would be the Western canon, whose supremacy has been challenged so successfully by the postmodern nihilists. We said, well, you have to read these great books from the past. And the core of that would be the Bible. And then you'd have all the poets and dramatists whose works are grounded in the biblical tradition that are like secondary offshoots of that fundamental narrative. That'd be people like Dante and Shakespeare and Goethe and Dostoevsky. And we can imagine that those more core ideas constitute a web of associated ideas that all other ideas would then slot into. You know, it's, oh, you could make the case technically, I think, that these great works in the past are mapping the most fundamental relationships between ideas that can possibly be mapped in a manner that is sustainable and productive across the longest possible imaginable span of time. And that's different than the proliferation of a multiplicity of ideas that characterize the present. Now, that doesn't mean we know how to weight